It's 2025. Welcome to another year. Welcome to a beautiful year. How has it been? We're just some days into 2025, and I'm already thinking of how the year is like a mid-year already. Everybody's the sudden switch. Everyone's not serious. So the whole partying and everything is over. Well, Happy New Year. I am Sanitarian Sule Timlara, your host. Welcome to Wele Wele today. So this is our first episode for 2025. Yay! I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad I'm here. It takes a listener for a speaker to be available, and it takes a speaker for a listener to be available. It's good to have you back. So, yes, what are we talking about today? I know we've been expecting discussion on the outbreak of human metapneumonia virus. I'm still trying to like learn the full thing without holding for some seconds. So let's try it again. Human metapneumonia virus, HMPV. It sounds so. I'm honestly saying it at a go. It's actually a lot, but HMPV. Let's put it like that. So yes, we know about the outbreak of HMPV, which is currently in China and some other parts of the world. I think England, Germany, just some spots there, not the whole place, but just some little figures here and there. But yeah, it started in China December 2024, and that was around Christmas time. I know, right? You're thinking, China, what happened again? No, what is going on again, China? What is really going on? You need to tell us. The last one was from you. Now, this one is from you. Is there something China is not telling us? China, please come. Come and tell us your problem. Let's know what the problem is. It that we have, all of us in this world, we have vexed you so that we can ask for forgiveness. But it is what it is. There's nothing we can do. The outbreak came out from there, and we can't blame anybody. It's coming from there. It came out. What if it happened in England? What if it happened in Africa? What if it happened in Australia? But as our human sense, we would also want to take it back. Like, now only you. Is it? Are you the only one? What is this one again? Why are you? So I understand how we could actually be feeling at the moment. Well, for them, they're already their healthcare system is already filled up. They are filled up, no space. The incrimination has increased because of the virus. We have to criminate, and that is like exposing the dead bodies to an extreme temperature of heat. Yes, so that's what that is about. So yes, for them, they felt like it's because of the season. In our last episode, we talked about Harmattan season, how everywhere is going to be dry. For us here, your nose is going to be dry, your throats might end up drying up. If you're not careful, you start having, I think, catarrh because of the dust, start sneezing, start having just minor flus. That is actually common during Harmattan for us, and I want Harmattan equates to winter season too. So for them, there it was looked like, it was seen as, it's the winter period, just flu. But I think they had an increase in the cases, so it was something, or it is something of huge concern. It's just like we know that yes, this season we always have this, but the cases increased more than expected or more than what they think should occur. So in some other places I'm trying to in China, different places like Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, northern provinces, they have those cases, and mostly children under the age of 14, old people, and those that their immune system is a little bit low. So they have the tendencies of contacting this virus. So I think when there's an outbreak within a particular age range, it spreads faster because of the immune system. Imagine a child that is under 14. You have a play group, they all go out to play, and you see one of the children having flu. So from there, you know how children can be. Hey, my friend, you know how we run around with children. They come to say hi. Children, sometimes some children are actually sweet. They hug themselves. Some children, the process of games, we're fighting for the ball, we're running, we're doing this. There's actually body contact. So I believe that that is how the thing spread fast. And Christmas season is the season of love. We're exchanging gifts, we're visiting people, we're eating cakes, we're going out, having fun. So I think that's one of the reasons that facilitated the quick spread of the virus. Yes. So moving to our own Nigerian place, our Niger. So I and some people were discussing on how we can actually go out there to start up a preventive measure, a preventive system of advocating and creating awareness. So we're like, Nigeria has not said anything. What's going on? Nigeria, and this mindset of now us they always do things last. Now us they do fire brigade approach. Now us they run up and down. But I was shocked when I saw the NCDC release. That was on the 5th of January. I actually saw it late. So I was like, hey, so we have been doing something. So I'm really sorry for accusing NCDC for not doing anything, for not giving out information fast on how the preventive measures and system is going to be like. But all of them, I'm really sorry. Oh, if anybody is hearing this from NCDC, me, I came to confess. I'm sorry. I can see that we are doing better, and I'm really grateful that we've improved on our emergency responsiveness, and that's really good for us as a nation. So yeah, currently the situation in Nigeria, we don't have any case that is above the usual. HMPVs happen, but if it's now on an increase in the case levels, then we know that something is wrong. So for now, it's just on a moderate level because Nigeria's disease control body have met with different bodies, and that's the WHO and all those people. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the US, WHO, the one in the UK Health Service, UK Health Security Agencies. They've come together. They've analyzed the risk for Nigeria. They've gone through our analysis. They've done whatever they need to do, and they certify us, like they've told us that we're on a moderate level. So there's no need for panicking. But that doesn't mean we should now sit down and be lackadaisical about it. We also need to prepare. For NCDC, they've started preparing, giving out to stock up kits, PPEs, in case there are cases that come up, so that the health workers that will be attending to the patients can be properly kitted to prevent transmission. That's the gloves, the lab coats, all those things that are needed. Then forever, whatever is it, I don't know, whatever culture that needs to be able to discover what kind of pathogen we're working on, the culturing agents and all of that, they're already intact. They've started preparing them. They've been bringing in of equipment. Then for the international ports, to also provide them with kits that will be able to test for HMPVs. They've also been distributed to health centers, so that we can be able to know what's going on, to be able to detect and also find the solution. But before then, we should also be ready as individuals, as communities, to stay on our guard, to keep out, to keep on the watch, to know what we are doing, so we will not fall victim of unpreparedness. So yes, when we're talking about HMVPs, it's actually very important that we know what it is about. So let's just do a little lecture on HMPV. I've never heard of HMPV before, Seth. I think the one I've heard of is it H? There's another one too that sounds like that. And I think that one deals with the woman's productive part. I know it. I promise you I know it, but I forgot. Is it HPV? Yes, it's HPV. But I've forgotten the full meaning of HPV, and it's not an excuse not to know it. But somehow, it just flew out of my head. But I know it deals with the human reproductive organ, and there was vaccination last year. I think November, December. Yes, for women, for younger women, which are like for teenagers, to actually get these vaccines to help them against cancer. So that it sounds like that. It sounds pretty much like that, but HMV, you see, you caught me that I know HMPV. That is human metapneumonia virus. Yes. Even before I saw the NCDC, I was even telling a colleague that see, let's not wait for them. We already have an insight. It's a pneumonia virus. So there's actually pneumonia infection. So we can actually walk from the symptoms of pneumonia. So there was what are we waiting for? But it's also good to wait for the authorities in charge so that they can give us detailed information on how it is and how to go from there. But yeah, so they've released it. So now we move into the awareness campaign, preparedness and what we need, all that is needed. So yes, HM, HMPV. It's actually a respiratory virus. It causes illness ranging from cold, mild cold-like symptoms to severe respiratory infections. So it starts gradually from now. You know how it is now. For me, when I hear, there's a way I inhale dust, automatically it sends a signal like you're coming down with catarrh. Your nose is going to get blocked. Forget about it. So I think from what I've noticed is whenever inhale from my mouth, I think from my mouth, I don't know, there's a way I feel like I tasted dust or I smelled dust. There's a way my system knows, oh my god, just forget about it. And we know how it actually can be blocked nose. You know when you're trying to have, it's that time that you need to have a sound sleep. You need to sleep well. That's that moment where you begin to have blocked nose, and you know how frustrating it can be. You have to be in a tilted position, you have to sit upright before you can sleep. Sometimes you have to sleep while sitting just because of this nose. And it's not a funny matter actually. So yes, it ranges from having mild cold to severe respiratory infections, and just like I mentioned before, it affects younger adults, young children, and older adults. Yes, young children and older adults below age 14, and older adults like 50 something upwards, where their immune system is decreasing from the way it used to be before, and those people that are on special drugs that tend to just take their immune system level just a little bit slower than the way it is or the way it used to be. So from what we found out, HMPV is not a new thing. It's just that we're just hearing it for the first time. Me, I'm just hearing it, sha. I don't know if other people have been hearing it, but me, I'm just hearing it. I know that there's pneumonia, there's catarrh, there's fever, there's this one. But I think HMPV is like an umbrella that holds these different respiratory infections. So yeah, there is no vaccine for it. There is no antiviral treatment for it too. It just goes away like nothing serious. I know when we have flu, we tend to use maybe paracetamol, we tend to gather some drugs together. But for this one, there's nothing really direct to use for it. Like, how you say, oh, vaccine for measles, vaccine for polio. There's no vaccine. It can go by itself. Yeah. If you have a very good support system, you have enough rest, you hydrate, you use over-the-counter drugs like paracetamol, ibuprofen, things like that can actually help you to heal from it, to recover from it. So yeah, and I have to be serious at this point. There was a time I thought about. I'm sorry, this sounds very weird. There was a time I just sat down and said, pepper soup can cure this thing now. Please, I'm not saying pepper soup cures this thing. I just feel like I don't know why. Maybe I was craving pepper soup, or I feel like there's this kind of way people feel when they take pepper soup. When people I've noticed that when people have flu, they tend to take things like that has pepper, that's very pepperish, that can make your body just heat up for a while and your body comes back to normal. I think that's why I feel like pepper soup can actually make you recover. But who says who has tried it out? I have not. So, and I don't pray to come down with the HMPV, and I also pray that you don't come down with it. Because why should we learn? Sometimes you should think, why should we learn from experience? I don't want to experience this, please. So yeah, but I was having that thought that pepper soup should do this job now, you know. But no, there's no vaccine and there's no direct treatment for it. When you are talking about malaria too, you have your what's it called? Artemether and lumefantrine. To it has a direct it has what is going after, but this one is just one of those mild things that we feel in our day-to-day activities where we need rest, we need enough water and all of that. So we move to the symptoms. There are, there are different symptoms. You can have, just like I mentioned, where you have catarrh, blocked nose, you have cough, shortness of breath, wheezing, then bronchitis, bronchitis. I don't know how to pronounce it. Just I'm sorry, but bronchitis. Yes, bronchitis. I can pronounce it because I was pronouncing it some months ago. Bronchitis. Yes, God will not shame me. Bronchitis or pneumonia. Sorry. Because pneumonia is actually very common. And that thing that they used to say that if you sleep on the floor, you have pneumonia. Well, I think it has been debunked. It's not true. It's not true. Sometimes it's just like from the AC, you have either, I think, a virus flying around that can just cause it, but it's not directly related to lying on the floor. Maybe sometimes the droplets, the virus or bacteria is there on the floor where you just inhale it, but it's not actually a direct thing having pneumonia from lying on the floor. So I think I've debunked it one way. If you want to know more, please go and search online. You'll find more than what I've just said. So yeah, when it comes to incubation, that is from the time of infection to when you can discover and see that, oh, this one, oh, that's fully developed. Just like when you inhale, let me use myself as an example. When I inhale dust, it gives me maybe like that day. It won't show anything. Maybe the next day I'll not start feeling maybe headache, my nose start running. So that's like incubation from the time it enters the body to the time it fully manifests, and you can see that, oh, something is really, really wrong. So it takes 3 to 5 days. HMPV takes 3 to 5 days after you have been exposed to the infection. Then within 2 to 5 days you should go. If you have if you have the support, if you take care of yourself, sometimes it actually lead to complication for those aged people. you can get to a point where the immune system can't do anything, and whatever they might take at that point might not really work, so they can pass on. I had to reduce the volume of my so that you understand that it's actually very important that we do not contact this infection. We don't want to lose our aged people. You know how important they are to us. So yes, we need to actually be very careful. So let's move to transmission. There are different ways of picking up this infection. Just like COVID, you know how COVID was then. Then you touch, when you touch this one, when you do this, when touching and all of that. So yeah, droplets from sneezing or coughing. Those people that know to cover their mouth when they are coughing. Please, in this season, I beg you in the name of God, don't try anything funny. It won't be funny. Do not try anything funny. If you want to cough, have respiratory etiquette. ATKT. Cover your mouth for heaven's sake. Don't come and be dropping orinchi on me. Orinchi that is not healthy. So yes, cover your mouth while you cough. Then sneezing. Also, please cover your mouth. Yeah, very important. And you know how COVID style was. You dab. You sneeze into your elbow side. So just cover your mouth. Do everything that is necessary. Then close contacts. Do not be careful of how you come close to people. There's also one thing. I have this habit of I can just waltz into putting my hand to your elbow side. So I can just come hi from the back and I just hook my elbow into yours. So yeah, we have to be careful of that too. Then personal contact where you shake hand when somebody sneezes and you didn't know that they sneeze and you just shake them. It's very important. Touching people, be careful of how you touch people. There are some people that are very naughty when touching people. They like touching people. And I for one person also. I really don't like people touching me. Unless you are my person. You can't just come and touch and I just my eyes gives me out. My countenance I just look at you like, why did you fall from, please? Why are you touching me like that? So, avoid touching people avoid touching people in general. Be actual no, just be careful, not avoid. That sometimes you need to touch people, but be careful how you touch. Be careful of places on your touching skills. Let's be like that. Then touching contaminated surfaces, touching anywhere, touching everywhere. You don't know where it's contaminated. You have to also be careful of how you touch places, especially those people that go to health centers. You have to be extremely careful of how you touch people and surfaces. You know how it is. Hospitals are like houses for different infections. They tend to jump around. So you need to be very, very careful of touching touching contaminated. You don't know if that place is clean or not. So you have to also be very, very careful. Then also overcrowded places, poor ventilation. We have to also be careful about that. If you see how Lagos Island was overcrowded December, I think last year was the year where I hated going to the market, eco market generally. It was like you can't move. One step, you're stepping on somebody. Move backward, you're hitting somebody. To the left, hit somebody. To the right, you're hitting somebody. It was that tight. I think one I went to the market once or twice. I was like, I'm not going to this market again. This year, I'm not going again. Which is actually very rare for me. But I made up my mind like I'm not going. I don't know what will happen, but anything anything I need to get has to wait. Because it was that tight. I'll say this in Yoruba for those people that understand. God will give us understanding. Kosowo kosowo ojakun. Okay, God will give you wisdom. If you know, you know. Ah, God. So yeah, then also correctional centers like the prisons. When judgment has been delivered, they transport people into prisons. Somebody might be infected. Person might be an infected person, and you take them to the midst of people that don't have any business with infections. That's how it's going to spread. And I remember during the last outbreak, which was cholera, we had cases of kirikiri where there were some infected persons. Some died, some actually survived it. So we also have to do well when it comes to our correctional centers to avoid overcrowding, poor ventilation, places that are tight, are airtight. You cannot breathe well. When they say breathe, you're not breathing well. You're breathing in sweat. You're breathing in another person's face. So yes, we have to be careful. Then we'll move to preventive measures. Just to avoid and break the chain of transmission. There are some things we need to put in place. For public, you need to go back to your washing of hands. I know after that COVID, funny thing I realized was that during that COVID time, we obeyed